Welcome. Thank you for joining. Get ready for the Modern Executive Podcast with Lorinda Buckingham. This is your ultimate go-to place to get empowerment, transformation, and leadership for your personal and professional success. Prepare to soar and usher in a brand new perspective on lifestyle and professional success as we dive into the inspiration and wisdom it takes to accomplish your dreams. Polish and perfect your methods as you discover your true potential. Let's take the journey of freedom, balance, and faith for success together. The journey starts now.
Hello, everybody. This is Lorinda Buckingham here with Modern Empowerment. I just want to welcome everyone. Let me make sure that we are all set, that we are online here on the Modern Executive Podcast. One moment, let's just double check. Oh, we are in business. Oh, awesome. Well, first of all, I just want to thank everyone for coming to the Modern Executive Podcast. I am your host, Lorinda Buckingham. The Modern Executive Podcast is a leadership empowerment podcast that is designed for the modern individual who is looking to grow as a leader in a contemporary world. So how many of you know what it's like to be out here and not to have people to understand how many things you have to juggle on a day-to-day basis, right? Juggle work, juggle family, responsibilities, and then we have to discover how to be a leader. And so this is what this podcast is about. It's about discovering how to be a leader in a world that gives us so many different demands. And I am so fortunate today because I have a special guest on this show. We have our very own Lizalyn Smith. And Lizalyn Smith, yay!
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Lizalyn Smith is an author and creator of different courses that use to help people to write their own books. And we have a great interview that is planned for her today. And before we get started, I'm going to just go through some housekeeping real quick. First of all, I want to thank all of the sponsors and the people who help sponsor this podcast. This podcast is able to go out globally to people all over the world because of the contributions that are made by people like you who listen to the podcast, who subscribe to the podcast. So if you want to subscribe to this podcast, you can. We are available on iTunes, Google Play, Alexa, and Podbean. And when you go in there and subscribe, you also get access to this content as soon as we release it. As soon as it comes out, it gets into your email, it goes into your iPod or wherever it is that you listen to, and then you can get these tools and resources every single week. So I just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors. If you are interested in sponsoring this podcast, please be sure to click the link to become a patron, and all of your donations go to the operation of this podcast every single month. And then also, just to let everyone know that this podcast is set up for people who are millennial, Gen Xers, no matter where you are, no matter where you come from, baby boomers, you're all welcome here. This is for everyone. This is for where we are today as leaders. And so this is perfect for career professionals, business professionals who are looking to go to the next level. And so I want to also tell everyone about some upcoming events that we have going on. Right now, we have upcoming events. We have the Modern Executive Leadership Success Group that is held once a month, every fourth Thursday of the month in Fayetteville, Georgia at the Hampton Inn. So if you're in the Georgia area and you like to network and grow in a leadership small group, this is the place for you. So I want to invite you and encourage you to come out. We'll be back there in the next month on the fourth Thursday of the month. Also, we have mastermind groups and classes that are available. Make sure you go into lorindabuckingham.com/events. And also, just to make sure, if you're out there, you like something, you see something that really resonates with you, make sure you hit those thumbs up and those likes, those hearts, because that tells social media world that we want other people to see this content. So make sure you do that. And if you're watching this on the replay, make sure you use hashtag replay. Or if you're listening to this on a replay, make sure you use hashtag replay. And make sure you follow us on social media at Lorinda Buckingham on Instagram, also Lorinda Buckingham on Facebook and LinkedIn. And then we also have our YouTube channel. And this video, this interview will also be available on YouTube. So I want to encourage you guys to get involved and get connected and stay connected, because the more you stay connected, the more we can continue to bring in great resources and tools so that you can develop as a leader. Leadership empowerment is important. is important in every aspect of our life. We may think that leadership just has to deal with if you're a king or a queen or a president, but it has to do with how we live our daily lives, how we function in our daily lives, how we grow as individuals. And so that's why I had to bring Lizalyn Smith on here today, because I know there are some people out there right now that want to write a book.
Yes.
They want to write a book, Lizalyn. They want to write a book. And, you know, I just went through this whole journey last year, releasing my first book. And I just know it was like, oh my goodness, it's so much
Yeah, it is.
to write a book. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, where do we get started? How do we write a book? And I've been asked this question time and time again. And I said, you know what? I don't want to answer this question by myself. I have someone here who's already an expert in writing books. So before we get started with that, we have listeners, we have people that is tuning in from all over. We have people all over the world who's going to listen to this broadcast. And first, I just want you to just take a couple moments and just introduce yourself. Just tell us who you are, where you're from, and just a little bit about your business and your company.
Okay. So, hello, and thank you again for having me on your show. This is an awesome opportunity. And so just a little background on me. My name is Lizalyn Smith, and I actually stated earlier, I'm an author and a course creator. My course's name is Publish Your Idea, and it's geared towards people who have kind of an idea that they would like to see published, but really don't have the steps necessary to get that done. So I kind of break down all of the steps that you need from when you initially form your idea to how you develop the idea, refine it, and then finally get to the point where you can publish the idea. And the book that I wrote is called Calculate Your Savings, and I published that about 4 years ago. I self-published it. And so I kind of packaged all the things that I had to go through to get my book published in both ebook and paperback. Wow. And published that into a course to help, you know, kind of create some shortcuts for people who are looking to do the same thing for their ideas.
Also, so you not only have created a course, but you published your own book.
Yes, I self-published about 4 years ago. And since doing that, I have been approached by several different people who are potential authors, just wanting to know how you do this, how you do that. Exactly. And it's just kind of like put everything in one package so it can just be a step-by-step system to go through and get the job done.
I know that we have listeners right now, and they're probably listening to this right now and say, okay, this is a breath of fresh air. Like, you have a step-by-step process to help them to publish their book. And, you know, what are some of the things that you see that people are dealing with when they have to write a book? I know for me, it was like fear, you know, maybe people don't want to read my book. Is it going to sell? You know, so what are some of the things that maybe some of the listeners will need to overcome, that they may see as a result of going through your program, they may actually overcome that particular obstacle?
Right. I think the most, one of the biggest challenges that people come up to is just the overwhelming amount of work that is required. So of course you have an idea, oh, I want to write a book, but there's so many other steps that you have to take before you get to that point where you can publish, as you know very well. So you have this idea, you start writing, and you feel like, okay, what's next? How do I, proofread, edit? And then there's so many different things that you need to know in terms of formatting your book to get it to fit whatever platform that you want to use, because an ebook is not formatted the same way as a paperback book. So you have to have all these different guidelines in mind. And so it becomes overwhelming. It's like so much to do. And at the same time, often authors are also still working a full-time job and, all these different things, having family obligations. So it's just a lot to try to manage. And it actually took me a while to get to that point, because I started writing the book when my son was, when I was home on maternity leave, and I didn't publish the book till he was 3 years old. So it's a lot involved. And then you may go through changing your idea and having to refine, because a lot of times we have big ideas, but you can't put everything into one book. So having to go through the steps to narrow down exactly what it is and what point you're trying to drive home, because if not, your book will be like infinitely long, and that's really not something people are going to read. So
it's like you're not going to read a book that's like 1,000 pages long unless it's like a book for school, right? As a book for college, right? And then you still want the cliff notes for that. Right. And one thing I like about your business is that you said it's called Publish Your Idea. Yes. And so a lot of times people don't realize that it's an idea you have an idea to publish your book. You have an idea that you want to get out there, maybe something on your heart. And so publish your idea is really out there to tell the people who are listening that if they have an idea and they want to get it published, that this is a step-by-step process that can help them to publish that idea. Right.
Okay. Exactly.
And then what prompted you or what encouraged you to finally decide, let's say, you know what, I am going to write a book. Like, yes. What was it? Because you just said that you were working, you were a mom. So you had all of these responsibilities. I mean, that's a lot of responsibilities to have and still have to write. So what, it's like, I mean, you know what it's like. It's like you're trying to do things at a certain time, right?
Right.
So that way, you can get the babies in bed, you can get you some me time, and then instead of relaxing and watching your favorite show, there it is. You have your laptop.
Right.
So what is it that made you finally decide I want to write my book?
Right. So for me, and I think for most people who go through the process, you really have to be passionate about what it is you're writing, because that's what's going to drive you and keep you motivated. Because if you don't have passion, it's just going to kind of just fizzle out and just fall by the wayside. But for me, I was writing about something that I was very passionate about. So it was nothing to, I knew if I do just a little bit every day or just a little bit here and there, it would add up and eventually I would publish. And I would feel this great sense of accomplishment, which I do. So it was just a self-motivation and passion.
Awesome. And I'm so glad that you did it, because it's very inspirational that you finished it, and then not only finished it, but created a process here. And so what is the purpose of your online course? So like when you look at your online course, what's the purpose of it, and what could someone expect to receive out of going through that course?
Well, the purpose is just exactly what the title is, publish your idea. So it's for self-publishing. It's for people who want to take their own idea and go through the process and self-publish, because there are different avenues. You can self-publish or you can go through a publishing house. But since I went through the route through self-publishing, that's what my course is about. And it really breaks down the whole publication and writing process into 4 major, I call them modules or overarching steps. And then within each of those modules, I break down all the intricate, detailed steps that you have to do. So the first module is idea formation. And this is the module where you are developing your idea. You're just kind of putting out your thoughts from what in your head down onto the paper, and kind of making sure that it's kind of vetting it in a way and making sure it's something that you really will stick with. So you're identifying what your passions are, identifying what your skills and your expertise, and really ultimately trying to figure out how your idea will help someone else's life. So you're kind of just going through the whole process of getting your ideas and reflecting upon, is this the right book for me? Am I the right person to write this book? You're asking a lot of questions. And then once you get through that phase, you go on and you develop that idea. You actually start your writing the content of your book. You start getting your ideas out and making sure that they logically flow and they make sense, and your chapters and your outline, make sense. And then from there, you go into the idea refinement phase.
Yes.
So at that point, you have your idea, you have something written down, but you're trying to go through and make sure that it's exactly what you want to publish and put out into the world. And then once you go through all of those steps, and it's 13 different steps in all 4 of these modules. But in the final module, you're going through the publication process where you're choosing your cover art, you're choosing, all of the particular details that will make your book come to life. So it's kind of like a 13-step process. But it's broken down into manageable chunks. So it's not as overwhelming as if you just jump out there and say, I want to write a book, and not really have a guideline or a roadmap.
And one of the things I like about what you're sharing with the listeners right now about publishing your idea and in that book, it's basically saying that you don't have to be alone when you're writing this book. So you don't have to be a person that's alone, that is trying to figure it out on their own. You will actually go with them step by step. And this program is taking them step by step, which is something that we didn't have when we were going through writing our book. It was just like, okay, what we do, we just get a Word document and just start.
Right. Right. Right.
So I think that the program that you have is very beneficial to people, because I have people come all the time asking about should they write a book, what type of book should they have, what type of book should they release. So how would someone go about selecting a title, or not necessarily a title, but the subject? Is a subject, like you picked the title, a subject, calculate your savings.
Right.
What prompted you to do that, or what would cause somebody to prompt for their particular subject that they want?
Well, for me, in choosing my book, the very first thing I did was self-reflect. So I have to go within myself and say, okay, what is it that I have expertise in? What is it that I have experience and skills and I've done? What is it that people come and ask me how I've done something? If I've done something at that time, I was a very, very big couponer. So I was, some people would call extreme couponer, and I was able to save like thousands of dollars from couponing. I had stocked up like almost a year's worth of diaper before my son was born. So people would come and ask, like, what are you doing? How are you doing this? So I said, okay, this is something that maybe I have a little bit of skill set in. So maybe it's something that I can share with others in a book. So I started writing things down, like how I did this step, and then when he was born, I was making his baby food. Like, I didn't buy the little jars. I pureed his baby food from scratch and saved so much money with that. So it was stuff that I was very passionate about. I had expertise in, and it was something that I felt as though I could help someone else walk through the same journey. So that's kind of how I feel like I guide people into determining what is a good topic for them. Like, it's something that resonates with you, that people will understand. Oh yeah, she knows what she's talking about. She's been through this, and even with you and with your book that I started reading, I'm, about 75%, done. Your experience, that is, your experience, that someone can read that and pick it up and say, oh, okay, this person, she wrote this book. I know I can, take some things from this book because she has experience, whether you're sharing a positive, negative. I think all experience can be positive because it can help someone else. So
awesome. And we have people, I'm sitting here looking at my phone because we have people that are tuning in, they're looking for the broadcast, and we're saying, hey, put the thumbs up. so I'm like, hey, come on over here. So this is amazing.
Lorinda Buckingham will come back and continue with this message in just a moment. But first, I'd like to tell you about a digital series being offered called The Modern Executive Success Blueprint. This is 6 of Lorinda's popular building principles on achieving professional success, covering topics such as discovering your best story, conquering fear, turning your passion into profits, and more. This collection makes a great resource and gift for you or someone you care about. We want to help you learn and apply these principles, and with a contribution of any size, we will send you a special gift of a digital copy of Lorinda's monthly leadership empowerment teaching as our way of saying thank you. We depend completely on your generosity to keep this program on the air. So this is one way we can support you as you support us. You can come alongside us with your contribution here or online at www.lorindabuckingham.com. Lorinda Buckingham is back to continue this message. It starts now.
So again, if you're just now tuning in and you're just not getting to this broadcast, I am here, Lorinda Buckingham with the Modern Executive Podcast, and I have our special guest, Lizalyn Smith, who is the author and the course creator for Publish Your Idea. Yes, show the book, show your book.
This is my book. Entitled Calculate Your Savings. It's about 4 years old now. I also have an ebook version of the book. So yeah.
So Calculate Your Savings is one of her first books that she created, as she mentioned, and also created a course to help other people to publish their book. Now, can you tell us exactly where can people find your book? If they wanted to calculate their savings, where exactly would they get their book?
So it's available on Amazon, on iBooks through Apple, and Barnes & Noble, Smashwords, which is an ebook publishing house, and also Kobo.
Kobo.
Yeah.
Kobo. So basically
everywhere books are sold.
Right, yeah. Exactly. Everywhere that you can possibly get the book, you can get the book. And so I want to encourage everyone out there to get the book called Calculate Your Savings. And this is basically available almost everywhere. Say available on Amazon and different places.
Yeah.
But calculate your savings. It's available on Amazon. You can order your book and have that book sent back to you. And you can kind of see how she put her book together. So that way, if you're looking to have a book, you can also do the same thing. Now, I have some more questions for you now. What was the most challenging part about writing your book? Like, some of people right now, they're listening and they say, this is great. Like this is good, but I have challenges. I have certain things. I have things, and right now they're looking at. They want to know, like, can she really relate to me and the challenges that I have? And I think already, just being an author, working, being a mom, you probably got those check marks. But what was the most challenging part about writing your book?
The biggest challenge is just staying focused. And it's like, it's kind of like when you're in school and you're kind of like, okay, I'm taking this class, I'm not going to graduate for another 2 years. It's hard to stay motivated when you're in the thick of it and, push through on those days where you can say, okay, I can write or I can sit down and watch TV. Like, you really have to make it a priority. And that's the biggest challenge, really. Like, once you get your idea out and say, okay, I know I want to write this. And you make sure you're passionate about it. You make sure that it, resonates with your audience and that kind of thing. Just making sure day after day. It's like those little micro steps that get you closer to your goal. Just staying focused.
Awesome. So there's some people out there listening right now. I'm sure that you can relate to the fact of being focused, right? Because it's so easy to have this idea and then not to get focused. And right now, there's some people that's listening to this and that's going to watch this broadcast. And this broadcast is going to inspire them because they said, you know what, this is the time for me. I want to write my book. They probably had this book on their mind for how many years, and they kept pushing it to the side because because of the lack of focus, they kept pushing it to the side. They said, well, I got this going on. I got that going on. Now they're like, no more, no more. So that means that this program is designed for people that, may not have that focus. That's why it's simple, it's small, it's something that a person can use and grow in and do. So if you're out there right now and you're interested in a book, I encourage you to get connected to publishyouridea.com and connect with Lizalyn Smith on this program, because this program can definitely help you to grow and to get your book published.
That's right. And another thing too, I have a free mini course which kind of condenses everything down and gives introduction to what's going to be the main course, which is still in the process of being developed. But the mini course is absolutely free. It's actually available on my Facebook page as well as my website. So
what's the name of the free course?
It's the Publish Your Idea mini course.
Okay. So we're going to put this up on the screen for people. So it's a free mini course. And this is called the Publishing Your Idea mini course.
Yes, Publish Your Idea mini course.
All right. So that means for you guys that may say, I need to have a taste. I need to know what it's like.
Right.
She created this, and it's available on Facebook. It's available on your website.
Yes.
So, okay, so it's available on the Facebook, available on website. And so if you're listening right now and you want to take the free mini course, you can get that on your Facebook page. Is the Facebook page just your name?
Publish Your Idea.
Publish Your Idea.
Yes.
So why don't you tell the listeners exactly where can they get this free mini course?
So the free mini course is available if you go to Facebook and just search Publish Your Idea, and I have a group there. And the actual mini course is going to be live there for only another 4 to 5 days. And I'm going to take it down, just getting ready for the big main event. But it's free there now. And it's also free on publishyouridea.com. So
awesome. So that means for some people, you need to act now.
Yeah.
Get focused and make sure you act now to get that free mini course and get connected. So that way you can start working on your book. And I think that it's great that to have a free mini course or to have a free course. So that way people can kind of see exactly what it is that they're doing, can kind of get a taste of it and start getting used to writing their book and writing on a regular basis. So I commend you for that and just providing that value.
Yeah.
have value. And so if you could tell us one more time, when did you started writing a book before your son was born or after he was born?
So I started writing bits and pieces when I was home on maternity leave. So it was kind of right after he was born. But it kind of went through several different iterations. Like I didn't have my title and everything solid and set down on paper until like 2 years after I started. So it's definitely a process. It's not something you just wake up one day. And you might see a lot of stuff online, like, oh, write a book in 30 days, write it, it's like just kind of.
That was going to be my next question, because I'm like, you see these things that says, write a book in 45 days, write a book in 90 days, write a book in this. And I'm like, okay, so are these people just fully committed to writing a book?
Yeah.
Do they have jobs? Do they have anything? Like, what's really going on? So what's your take on that? Why don't you tell us in the world, what is your take on having that type of 30-day program? Is that possible? Or
well, of course anything is possible, but I would say in order to put a very good solid product out there, it just definitely takes time and it takes investment. It's something that you have to really work through, refine. You even often have to have people come in and help you with editing, proofreading. It's not something that you can just type, real quick and put out. I mean, of course you can, but if you really want to put out your best work, you have to put in your time in the process and make sure that it's absolutely stellar, because it's going to be a representation of you, your brand, and it's really a marketing tool, really, if you look at it, because it's a representation of you. It helps to develop your communication skills. It can be used for so many things besides just a piece of paper or a packet of paper. It can create opportunities.
It can create opportunities. Yeah. I mean, there's some people out there right now, they want to have a book and they want to learn they want to put that out there, but it creates different opportunities for context. At first, when I, just to share real quick, when I was writing my book, I was like, oh, I don't want to write a book about my mom, Yeah. I'm a business coach. I'm a leadership trainer. What I look like, I don't want to be known for grief. And then, I wrote the book, and the testimonies that came in as a result of people reading the book was just, completely amazing. But then also, to my pleasant surprise, and I was prepared for it, but it was a pleasant surprise, people were asking me for business coaching and leadership training and asking me to come out and speak at different engagements. And it became an additional thing of revenue. Uh-oh, did we lose her? Okay, there we go. And so it became an additional stream of income. It became an additional way to get my brand out there. Mm-hmm. And then the fact that, it did well when we released it. So, I mean, just to kind of say to that, I mean, have you seen things as well as what things that people can use with their book as far as, revenue, name recognition?
Yes.
What do you have to say about that?
Well, that's what I was going to say. And in terms of tying it into leadership, and you kind of touched on these points already, but, it's not just a book. It introduces your brand. It introduces who you are. And depending on what you put in the book, it allows you to draw people who would not necessarily, you wouldn't meet otherwise. You wouldn't do business with otherwise, because they find you more relatable. It's not just, someone on the screen. It's actually someone, I read your words. I have some type of connection to you. So it really is awesome in that way. And like you also said, it provides an additional stream of income. And once you publish your book, it continues to provide passive income, because once it's out there, anybody can buy it, especially in the digital form that we have now. We can use ebooks, and those are going to continually be available to our audience all over the world. So it's an awesome way to get your name out there.
Awesome. And I think that when we have different things like books and ebooks and things like that, it has opened up the door for people who are speakers, trainers, coaches, or just anything, even if you're not in that industry, just to get your idea out there. And I'm going to even go a little bit further and talking about leadership and tying it into the leadership empowerment, and just sharing that the process of writing the book, I learned a lot about myself.
Yes.
I learned a lot about myself. I learned about myself. I learned about how to, better manage my time. I learned about, putting those words on paper made me think about who I was and what I was trying to become. So when you are going through that process, what are your thoughts on it? It's not only just getting some words out there and helping someone else, but sometimes when we write a book, we start helping ourselves.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a lethargic process, depending on, like I said, what the content is and what you're writing about. You're pouring your soul out, because it's all of the stuff that you experience, you have passion for, you walk through, and you're getting it out. It's kind of a form of journaling or therapy in some sense. Depending on the type of book that you're writing, it can be very just releasing.
Yes.
So yeah,
I remember we were going through the book. I said, well, man, I feel, like a whole transformation process happened just getting it done, because then you get to see that book in your hand printed. And you're like, wow, my name is on a book.
Yeah.
So how did you feel when you saw your name printed?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, okay, I had this idea in my head. I had scribbles on the paper, I actually, before I actually published my book, I actually printed out what would be my book cover and like kind of taped it to another book, just kind of just hold it in my hand. And then when I got the real book, I'm just like, wow, this is awesome. It's amazing.
Wow, so you were walking by faith. You were
I was manifesting. Visualizing all kinds of
we're gonna manifest this book right here. I mean, you start making scribbles and trying to figure out.
Oh yeah.
And I know, like, sometimes I have an idea. I could be in the kitchen cooking, and all of a sudden I just say, oh, wait, I got an idea that could go on my book. Grab a piece of paper and try to hurry up and write it down. Like, oh, that could go into a chapter. That can go into something.
Look, so this is my next book. I'm working on. And I actually did that. This is my old book here, and I stapled or taped my new book cover.
Oh, wow. What's the new book that's getting ready to come out?
It's called Homemaking Goddess will be the title.
Homemaking Goddess. Okay, guys, you be on the lookout for that. I might have to
yeah, so.
Because I need the homemaking and the goddess part. Give me the whole thing.
Right. So you gotta speak it.
And I know that you have a wide range, a diverse group of clients. I mean, you help people who are men, who are women. I mean, I know right now we're talking about what it's like to be a mompreneur, but these days you have dads who are very active, who have a book. Oh, yes. You have people who are men who are looking to step out and get that book published out. So your program is available for everyone, correct?
Oh yes, definitely so. Anybody can jump in there and get the tools that I have available. It's, anybody can use it. Exactly. But I did want to cover one more thing. And this is a big question I often get from everybody who want to publish. Like, how much does it cost? Like,
oh yes, how
much is it going to cost me? Because it does sound expensive. But surprisingly, the cost to actually publish a book is free. Oh, I will say that again.
You need to say that.
It is free to publish on Smashwords and Amazon Kindle Desktop Publishing. So these are particularly ebook platforms. So you can just publish it. But before you get to that point, the cost comes in. The publishing is free, of course, but copywriting, editing and proofreading, developing your book cover. So those costs are what you're going to be paying for, but to actually put your book out there on the internet is free.
Wow. So here it is, guys. We just learned something really good, that that in reality, it's pretty much free to publish your book.
And so that's why, going back to when people say you can publish a book in 30 to 45 days, you really can. You can put anything out there you want and call it a book, as long as it's formatted correctly.
Right.
But, these other costs come into play.
So you're kind of like more like an author coach then, right?
Yes.
Kind of like you help people do that. So just for some of the listeners who are tuning in right now, and getting acquainted, is that, we're here with Lizalyn Smith, author and course creator of Publish Your Idea, and she helps authors get published.
Yes.
Basically, she helps people that have ideas to get published with their ideas. And so this is really great, because there's so many people out there that want to write a book and they don't know where to get started. And if you're just not getting in here, we just learned that to publish your idea is free.
Yeah, it is.
Now the cost comes in with all the extra, the editing or the getting the book covers and different things like that, depending on who you go with. But the first part of it is free.
Yes.
Publishing part of it is free.
Because that is really just uploading it. If you're using Amazon, you're uploading your PDF document, if that's what you're using for the actual content and the text of the book, and you're uploading the picture of your cover, and that's it. Then you go through the process of determining the cost for your book and marketing and promotion, and that's where additional cost comes in. And so all those other extra things cost, but to actually publish your book, it is free.
Awesome.
But it definitely does cost. It can cost up to close to $1,000. I'm sure you probably figured that out.
Yes. Well, I think the cost I had was more in the mistakes that I made.
Oh, okay.
And that the mistakes, like, I didn't mean to do that. I need to do something different. But I think like people going through your program, they probably would avoid a lot of different mistakes that you and I made when we published our first book, and they can go straight through it. Now, is your program primarily for new authors, or do you have something for authors that's already published, or that they can possibly come back, go through your program to kind of refine how they're doing things?
Yeah, it's geared toward new authors, people who are completely unfamiliar with the process. So if you've done it a few times before, you probably know most of the content in the course, but it's basically for new authors.
Okay, and then is there now the main course? I take it that there is a fee for that course.
Yes.
Now, can you share that with the listeners, or do you want them to contact you, or should they go through a consultation? How would people get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can reach me at Lizalyns@publishyouridea.com.
Lizalyns. Spell Lizalyns for people, because somebody they don't mess. People mess up their siblings' names.
It's Lizalyn @publishyouridea.com, or you can just contact me through Publish Your Idea on Facebook.
Okay, Publish Your Idea on Facebook. And so if people out there, if you're interested in getting your idea published, if you're interested in getting that book out there, getting your voice out there, going through the transformation, just having that transformation. And then also for some people who are looking to go to the next level and possibly have an additional stream of income into their business, this is a great way to get started.
Right.
And to have that extra stream, because it allows for people to have something that they can walk away with, have in their hand, and like you said, get to know you. So if that's something that you like to do, I encourage you to get in contact with Lizalyn, and get in contact with publishingyouridea.com, and also taking advantage of that free e-course.
Yes.
Is it an e-course, right?
It's it's an online course. I haven't used the word e-course. I just use online course.
Online course. Okay. Online course. I have different terms for everything. And so, and again, it's, as we talk about leadership, it takes leadership to finish something. It takes leadership to go forth and to publish your idea, to do what it is that you said that you was going to do. It takes a lot to go from here to there.
Right.
I know that's one of the biggest things that we share with people when they're going through our training and coaching programs, that we're trying to take them from here to there. And that's what your book process is doing. You're taking people from here to there. You're saying you're at square one, and we're going to take you all the way to getting published.
Right.
So I think that's a great idea. And also, I just want to give you a couple minutes here just to share with the audience. Is there anything else that you want to share with them, or just leave with them about book publishing or anything of that nature, so that way they can take that back and take action with it?
Yeah, I would just encourage everybody to start where you are. Don't feel like you have to be at a certain point in a certain time. You are where you are. And so even if you haven't written one word of your book, but you have this idea that has been burning in your spirit for years, and you say, such and such always keeps asking me about how I did this, or, where I learned that. If someone is continually asking you about something, that is prime real estate for you to publish your idea on that, and not just hold it within yourself, because you can help other people. Believe it or not, your experience can help someone else. And I know it may not seem that way. You may think, oh, no one's going to listen to me. I'm not an expert. I didn't go to school for this, but someone wants to hear your unique experience, and no one else can tell your story but you. So I would just encourage everyone. So everyone has an idea. So you have to go through the process to determine whether or not it's the right idea for you to write about, but you have a story that someone wants to hear. So that's just my little 2 cents.
Well, you are empowering us today.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
The show. And again, if we're going to have this here on the Facebook page, also please be sure to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Alexa, and also on Podbean. So if you want to get this downloaded, make sure you connect with us. Also, make sure you connect and subscribe to the blog and newsletter, because I'm always sending out information and content, and this will go out to people. And so if you know anyone, make sure you share. Tell them about publishyouridea.com. I want everyone to make sure they get connected with Lizalyns. If you could do me a favor, Lizalyns, can you show everybody your book one more time?
Calculate your savings.
All right, calculate your savings.
Yes.
Awesome. So calculate your savings, and that is available on Amazon.
Yes.
And all of your major retailers, and also Publish Your Idea. And I have a couple of just closing announcements. Again, I just want to thank all our supporters. If you are out there right now, you want to continue to help this broadcast go out to people all over the world, because we are empowering leaders to empower leadership in others. Then feel free to become a patron. I mean, just any donation of any size will help us to continue to send this broadcast out to everyone else. And then also just a reminder that we do have our monthly meetings, the Modern Executive Leadership Success Group. And so make sure you come out on every fourth Thursday. We're going to continue these discussions and have things every single month. And then also make sure you connect with me. Connect with me. I like to talk to you guys. Connect with me. Connect with me on social media, on Instagram at Lorinda Buckingham, on LinkedIn at /Lorinda Buckingham, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Lorinda Buckingham. And so again, we just want to thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Lizalyns.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. This is an amazing show. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And as always, here's to your freedom, your balance, and your faith for success. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining Lorinda Buckingham. Join the tribe and the movement. Connect and follow Lorinda on social media. And be sure to subscribe today so you don't miss one thing that could change your lifestyle or professional success. For more amazing series and products, to book Lorinda for your next event, or to work with Lorinda, visit www.lorindabuckingham.com. So, now it's time to go out there and grab your dream and live the life you desire. Here's to your freedom, balance, and faith for success. Take care.